All right, welcome. In today's explainer, we are going to tackle a really big question, one that affects pretty much anyone trying to navigate our world right now, especially with AI changing everything. How do you stay relevant? How do you stay effective? And, well, how do you stay strong? The answer might surprise you.
So, let's just dive right in. When you think about what it takes to succeed in the age of AI, it kind of feels like we're stuck, right? We're constantly told there are two paths forward, and honestly, they both sound exhausting. Almost like a race that's designed for us to lose.
On the one hand, you've got this immense pressure to just train harder, learn all the complex coding, become an AI wizard yesterday. And on the other hand, the advice is to just choose another lane, find something AI can't possibly do. But what if there's another way? A more powerful and, frankly, a more authentic path that kind of combines the best of both.
Okay, so let's dig into our first big idea here, building a totally different kind of strength. See, this isn't about trying to run faster than the machine. It's about redefining what it even means to be relevant in a way that AI just can't copy, because it's you.
And this is where things get really interesting, because the whole goal gets flipped on its head. The source material here argues that real strength in this new era, it's not about how many skills you have. It's about authenticity. It's about being true to yourself. And that simple idea shifts the entire focus from the outside world to our own internal one.
So here's the strategy in a nutshell. It's not about ignoring AI. Nope. It's about embracing it as a powerful tool that helps amplify what already makes you, you. The whole point is to build a position for yourself that's hard to copy because it's built on your authentic strengths. It's a mindset shift, not just another frantic race to learn a new skill.
But, okay, how do you actually find and then defend that authentic niche when the world is changing by the second? Well, this brings us to a really cool concept from our source material. You need a superpower. And no, that superpower isn't coding. It's mental agility.
So what is mental agility? Well, think of it as this incredible mental flexibility. And it's more than just being open-minded. It's a real active practice for getting comfortable with uncertainty. Comfortable with the unknowns that we don't even realize are out there yet.
I love this slide because it shows the mental shift we have to make. Most of us, especially in tech, are trained in logical thinking. We're always trying to narrow things down to find that one single correct answer. But mental agility, that comes from what the source calls diverging practice. It's the total opposite. It's about expanding possibilities, opening things up, not shutting them down.
And this isn't just some vague idea, right? It's a real process. It starts with reflection, then moves to creativity, and then to this idea of evocation, which is really about drawing out new ideas, pulling them to the surface. This is what lets you explore things that haven't been proven yet, to ask those bigger, weirder questions. That's where your creative edge is hiding.
Okay, so that sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? How do we take this cool idea of mental agility and make it a real practical habit that we use every day? Well, this is where we get to the core lesson of this entire explainer.
Okay, here it is. This is the big one, the absolute core habit we need to build. It's the skill of holding multiple, sometimes even contradictory perspectives at the exact same time. This is the engine. This is what makes mental agility work and what lets you navigate all this complexity without getting trapped in one rigid viewpoint. And look, the benefits of doing this, they're huge. Yeah, we're talking about getting more productive, faster. But it's also about something deeper, avoiding the blind spots of tech utopia. That shiny idea that technology will just magically fix everything. It helps you find real value by not getting stuck on one side of an argument, which lets you use AI with way more creativity.
So let's get practical. Here's what this actually looks like. The hype machine says AI is a utopia, it'll solve everything. The reality check says, whoa, hold on, AI has some very real limitations right now. The agile view, the one we want, holds both of those thoughts at once and says, okay, how can we use these very real limitations to our advantage to be more productive today? See, it's both pragmatic and forward-looking.
So, where is all this leading? Why is this habit so critical, like right now? Because the impact of all this technology is going to be massive, and it goes way beyond just our jobs.
When you boil it all down, this whole thing is really about one skill: letting go. To get comfortable navigating the unknown, we simply cannot cling so tightly to the things we already think we know. In the world that's coming, certainty can be a cage. Flexibility is freedom.
And why does this matter so much? Because the changes coming aren't just about new apps on our phones. They are deeply philosophical.
This whole mindset is about preparing us to ask some fundamental questions about who we are and what our purpose is as the lines get blurrier and blurrier.
Which brings us to the final, and maybe the most powerful question from the source material. If AI can eventually simulate things that go beyond just thinking, then what are we? And there is no easy answer. But developing the mental agility to just hold that question, to sit with it without rushing for an answer, that is the new strength we've been talking about today.